All right. Sound good. Mic check. Mic check.
Well, we got
I looking good.
the Malcolm X glasses on. I see you,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
boy.
You know, I had to
Uh,
switch it up.
Tay Diggs, unofficial stunt double looking ass boy. Looks good on you, man. Looks good on you, man.
Appreciate
Looking.
that,
Wait, hold
brother.
on. Let me get a good look.
Oh yeah,
Looking all
fresh.
married and stuff, man. I like that.
You know,
I like that.
married life.
Yeah, I can see, man.
Yeah,
This handsome,
Mar-
dapper looking fella.
married life look good on you.
Looking like a man.
All
All
right, here we go.
right.
3,
So I'm in this
2.
shit. I'm really in this. Oh no, we keeping all that in. All that. Don't try to do no countdown. Do it. Then we have to do this professional. We have to do this right.
No.
We keeping all.
I always do that.
That in.
I do that to get myself ready. Anyway,
Really? You want to say that one more time?
I do that to keep myself ready, to prep my understanding.
Okay, Bruce Wayne, Batman.
I am Bruce Wayne. Episode 67 of the Duo Sports and Stuff podcast. My name is Deonte, joined by my ace, my guy, my best man, Dane Beasley. Dane, what's up, man? It's just me and you this time. We do not have the wives, to the dismay of probably a lot of our listeners.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
You know that's gonna get back to them. They got a large following now.
Yeah,
it's gonna get back to them.
Like when are they gonna come back on the pod? And we need more stuff. I've heard we need more stuff than the sports. But this week, Dang, we getting back to the sports. You know what I'm saying? The heart and the soul of what we talk about on the daily. But how are you doing, man?
Interesting choice of words there, Deonte. Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Can't complain, bro. It's been a very interesting week. I would say a very restful week, but it's never restful as any of the parents out there of the Duo Sports and Stuff podcast understand that it's never restful when, you're full-time. You're always a full-time parent. Even some of the older parents that I know, they're saying, hey, you never stop being a parent, no matter how old they get. But the life of, as a father of a 2-year-old, he's kept me on my feet and the edge of my seat the past few days. So it's been pretty fun. Just
little Lang.
Yeah, he's just surprises and amazes me.
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you that. Like, I know recently we talked about stuff that he's done, like just in general when we're playing on the game and stuff, and I hear him in the background. Like, what? I guess maybe this week something he's done, or like something recently that made you just sit back and say, "Wow, this dude is smart."
So today while I was sitting on my computer chair, because I tend not to try to sit on the couch, the regular couch, because one, it sinks in really low, and two, I don't want to get too comfortable where the point I fall asleep, and then boom, he's running around the house by himself while I'm, accidentally falling asleep.
Right.
So sitting in this computer chair, just strolling just like this on my phone, just watching a 2.5 hour compilation of Elmo's World, and he's sitting on his slide or on his trampoline or playing his basketball goal or doing something else. And I look up, he's sitting on the edge of the slide with his foot crossed over the other leg, and he's having one of the pamphlets open for one of the mini Amazon purchases that my wife has gotten over the course of the past few years. But I don't know what it was a pamphlet to, but he had it open like he was reading it. To my surprise, this time the words were right side up. It wasn't upside down, but I'm sure he didn't know what any of the words were, but just stuff like that, like little
sophisticated stance.
Yeah, like he's seen me do that before, prop my leg up. And it's not even so much as I'm trying to be sophisticated in my comfort of my own house. Most of the time I'm stretching my hamstrings when I have my leg crossed over the other one. So he's picked up on that somehow just by observing. But as of recently, that has been the thing.
That is funny. I know when I came to visit a few weeks ago, homie is all over the basketball goal. He's ready to take to the courts.
One other thing. After when his mom got home not too long ago, a few hours ago, she took him to the bathroom. I started out taking him to the bathroom, and I was like, you know what? I need to tap me out. And she came in there, and he came out, and he had his basketball sweatband on, his wristband on. One of the birthday parties at one of his classmates, they got a whole bunch of LeBron James Space Jam themed gifts, and one of them was a sweatband. And he puts this.
That's for basketball.
He knows that it's for basketball, so he puts it on and he's wearing it around the house. Randomly, like, bro, like, you got a pickup game at the rec at 5 or something? Like,
it's like,
go sit down
like
somewhere,
you used to wear your basketball shorts under any pair of pants, ready to hoop.
It's like, what? They hooping? Bro, we're in the middle of an English class. What are you talking about? Like, sit down somewhere. But yeah, he did that.
That
was a crazy era.
I was just going to say crazy era. Boys wearing basketball shorts under their pants, like ready to hoop at any time.
Hey, here's the thing though. I haven't done that in a while, only because typically, the past year or so, the work or the attire is work pants, work shirt, work pants, work shirt. When I get home, basketball shorts, shirt. But when we showed up to the wedding, it wasn't last week.
This weekend will make it 2 weeks. So it's like a week and a half.
Like last week. Okay, 2 weeks ago when we showed the wedding, that Saturday, I had the basketball shorts up under the sweatpants just in case somebody randomly pulled up with the Spalding. I'm like, oh, we going? We going? Where we going? So
and see, I should have hit y'all. I should have hit you up that morning. Things were crazy that morning because we had the hip hop aerobics stuff.
I would have been asleep. I would have been asleep.
Oh, you already sleep.
We had this extravagant plan the night before. Oh, babe, because we're sitting in the bed, talking in the morning, looking at each other in the eyes. Like, babe, we're gonna wake up in the morning. Yeah, we're gonna wake up in the morning. We're gonna get breakfast at 6:30. Yeah. Where am I at 6:30? I'm asleep, knocked out. The wife, she'd already made her 2 trips downstairs to grab food and bring it back up. I wake up around 10, maybe 11 or so. Whenever I woke up, no, checkout was at 12. So it had to be around 10. I woke up around 10. I was like, I'm so sorry, man. And she's like, it's okay. Your food's over there. I was like,
I love it. Yeah.
She was, watching TV and stuff on, she, took a little cat nap. But yeah, so it ain't no thing, man. If anything, I was still kicking myself in the leg for just fumbling, reserving on the spot where everybody else is at, because it would have been so much more fun.
It was crazy, man. It was fun.
It was an experience, one that I will never forget, and one that I will learn from, in terms of reservations and reserving early. So
yeah, best weekend by far of my life. Once again, if you're listening to the pod, more than likely you're a friend of the show, and you realize that, hey, I got married and it was crazy. Probably seen pictures, videos on Instagram, social media. It was definitely one of the best moments of our lives, and appreciate everybody that could come out and support and show love to us and all that good stuff. Also, we realize it is Thanksgiving. So once again, we want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there, whether you're with your family or you're alone. We appreciate you listening, and hopefully we could be a part of your, Thanksgiving day. We appreciate you so much, and we're thankful for those that have been along for the ride. Dane, it's been 2 years, bro, since we started this podcast. November 21st of 2019 was our first episode. I forgot to mention that. Well, I guess I wouldn't have been able to mention it last week because it didn't come up yet. But yeah, man, November 21st of 2019, our first episode of the Duo Sports and Stuff podcast dropped. Wow. And we named it, it was Brawls something. Dang, what's the name of it? It was remakes, hot takes, Brawl, something. Yeah, we always come with the title.
Because his old buddy had that chair in his hand about to do some damage.
No. It was when Myles Garrett had hit old boy with the
head. I'm thinking about the other. Look, I'm thinking about the other podcast we had.
You talking about the Kansas brawl? That brawl.
Dudes on the ground like this, man.
Yeah. 2 years. 2 years. We ain't that old. 2 years of the Duo Sports and Stuff podcast. If you've been rocking with us since day one, we appreciate it. Excited for what we have in store in 2022. Dane and I have been talking about some cool ideas that we want to do. So excited about that coming up. On the docket for episode 67, Dane.
Hey.
It's been a while since we got to the sports stuff, so this is gonna be a sports heavy show. Apologize ahead of time, but this is what we do.
I ain't apologizing for nothing. You gonna get this sports.
We're gonna get sports going.
SPAWTS. Sports. You're gonna get all of it.
The sports part. We're gonna start the show talking about the college football rankings that just got released this week. Heading into rivalry week before the conference championship games. Mm-hmm. Dane and I are going to finally talk about the state of our favorite NFL teams, the Cowboys and Broncos.
Facts.
Dane and I went to that game the week before our wedding, so November.
I was there physically. I was not there
6th.
mentally.
Dane's first experience. So we're going to talk to Dane about his first experience at a Cowboys game. That should be fun. I think, Dane, you can remind me he made some kind of bet about the game. I don't know. You can let me know later.
Wow, fresh out the gate. All right. Look, what's they say? Keep that same energy when I see you in person.
Keep that same energy. Oh, most definitely will, because I'm going to be asking for some. I want some. Hall of Fame semi-finalists announced for class of 2022. And then in our nerdy segment, Dane, yesterday, Wednesday, Hawkeye finally released the first 2 episodes of the new Disney Plus MCU show. So we're going to talk about what we thought about the first 2 episodes. And of course, like we mentioned, it is Thanksgiving, man. So we're going to talk about our favorite Thanksgiving dish. And I also got a question for you later that I will not forget about how people feel about certain Thanksgiving, not even Thanksgiving in general, but like food etiquette and like the way people eat their food. Anyway, your face is like, what are you talking about? I won't forget it, but I'll bring it up. So yeah, that's what we got on docket for today. So appreciate you guys again for tuning in, watching, listening, any of that good stuff, Dane. But on Tuesday, you
from Baltimore or something?
On Tuesday, my guy, the college football rankings were released for week 13.
Oh, and how they did not disappoint.
They did not disappoint. What's crazy, we've had the college football rankings notes on our topic list for a while. We haven't really got to them.
It didn't feel juicy enough. Every time we talked about it, it just didn't feel like, it just wasn't, the time wasn't right.
The time wasn't right. And it seems like, even in general, I was talking to this today with my barber, like the season, football season in general always goes by so fast. And I look up right now, man, it's like 1 week left in the regular season. Then we got championship week and then straight to the, bowl season. So the week 13 rankings, Dane, Georgia, of course, they've been the most dominant team in college football this year. No.
I'm just playing. It's just a joke.
Oh, okay.
It's just a prank. Yeah, it's a prank.
Defensively, they are,
they are the most unstoppable team so far.
I think they're setting some kind of record. I don't have it in front of me, but it's like an historic defense of not giving up they haven't given up more than 20 points a game, maybe less than that. Yeah, so they're the undisputed number 1 team in this college football rankings, according to the committee, sitting at 11-0. Number 2, Dane, jumping Alabama, your Ohio State Buckeyes at number 2, C.J. Stroud, that amazing receiver trio, Travion Henderson, still, young squad.
I still can't find a comp for him, bro. His comp is going to be tough.
Who are we talking about? C.J.?
No, Henderson. CJ I have to give it a little bit more time because he's a very interesting mode, interesting player.
I got a quick one that came to my mind, and I know he's probably a little bigger than what this guy was. Okay. Mighty Mouse, Maurice Jones-Drew, when he came out of UCLA.
He's both stocky.
Stocky, but has that go, and he has that power too. Yeah, him. And didn't you say Doug Martin before in a previous episode, or was that another running back you were talking about?
We were talking about old buddy from Kansas, JB3's team. Was it Deuce Vaughn? Is that his name?
Deuce Vaughn, yes.
Deuce Vaughn. Yes. We were talking about player comparisons because I was like, but despite what he believes, I was like, bro, he's gone next year. He is gone. Like, there's no way he comes back. But he's gone. Like, get that out your head before y'all try to run him into the ground because he's the focal point of your offense. He has been since he got there. But he's gone.
Baylor played them this past weekend, and that was my main thing. Like, if we stop him, contain him,
slow him down,
you'll win the game. And he had that big 75-yard run, and I was like, yeah, he's due for one of those at least once a game. So
he's going to the league. It's just a matter of how high he's going because he's full package. How do we get on that?
I was talking about the rankings, Travion Henderson comparison.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So Ohio State, no, you good, brother. Ohio State sitting at number 2. Of course, Alabama comes in at number 3 at 10-1. They I was gonna say, yeah, Ohio State with the big shellacking of Michigan State, 56-7. That catapult them over the tie. I know you're happy about that. We'll get to it. Alabama at 3. Cincinnati finally creeping into that top 4, undefeated, 11-0 with one game left. I think they play Houston, right, in their season finale.
I believe so.
I think it's Houston, which they're ranked. Houston's a pretty tough team. They've been playing really well as of late. And then to finish out the top 10, you got Michigan at 5, Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Ole Miss, and then Oklahoma. So, Dane, when you see these rankings, at least this top 4, is this what you kind of feel like is right? Like, did the committee finally get it right in week 13?
I think it sucks that it waited this long to get it right, but in my opinion, Bama shouldn't have jumped anybody when they did. I think it was 2 or 3 rankings ago, possibly. Maybe 2 or 3 rankings ago. They leapfrogged somebody. And I was like, come on, bro. And then there was one of the teams in like the 6th or 7th or 8th. And I was like, wait a minute. That's not right.
Okay, so the first week, the first rankings came out week 10, and Alabama was 2. They've been 2 every week until this week. They dropped to 3.
Okay. It might have been one of those. Probably
like an AP poll.
The beat writers, the beat writers do their own their own synopsis and summary. This is what I think should happen. So
yeah,
it might have been that or an AP poll. But I remember reading one. I was like, man, that ain't no damn. But the sooner we get to a consensus on the rankings, I think the better off we'll be, and they'll eliminate a lot of biases that exist, because there are biases that exist. But I'm just interested to see how this is going to work with Georgia and Alabama. That's where my curiosity lies. We've been in this predicament. We've seen this happen so many other times with multiple SEC teams, in the top 5, hell, even the top 10. But to see it like this, a one-loss team versus an undefeated team, like,
yeah, the SEC is going to be the heavily biased conference throughout.
Absolutely.
We've always seen that the past few years, and I think if Georgia goes on to lose to Alabama, Georgia's still in the playoff. They'll sit at 4. Cincinnati will get dropped down. Let me see if I'm right. Yeah, Georgia will
Cincinnati
go 4.
will drop down to 3 or 2. Ohio State will go to 1. Bama will
probably
be
just a reshuffling of that top 4, maybe, if Georgia lost to Bama. If Georgia beats Bama drops to 2 losses. I think at 2 losses, they should drop out of the top 4, and maybe if Michigan Ohio State's playing Michigan, Michigan will be off too.
Let's say Ohio State beats Michigan. Let's say that happens. That drops Michigan out of the top, at least the top 8.
Yeah.
Then we have Oklahoma State versus
Notre Dame. You got Oklahoma State. Yeah, see,
I skipped Notre Dame because they're independent. I just, I have a large bias.
Well,
you're right.
I'm just saying they're sitting.
I forget
sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
No, but what you were saying about Oklahoma State, like, you still have Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Oklahoma sitting there.
Right.
Baylor has 2 losses. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State have 1 loss. The winner, Oklahoma State's already in the Big 12 championship. Oklahoma gets in if they beat Oklahoma State in Bedlam on Saturday. Baylor gets in if Oklahoma State wins. So there's like that outside chance that a 1-loss Big 12 championship team can sneak in over maybe a Cincinnati, depending on how many top 10 wins or top 25 wins they decide to go by.
Somebody's going to be pissed. It's going to be a group of SEC fellas that's going to be pissed, or a group of Big 12 that's, after y'all get finished catfighting and beating each other up over the head with glass bottles, y'all going to come to a consensus like, we deserve to be mad because there needs to be more of us in there. So somebody's going to be pissed.
If I'm like a Cincinnati fan and I see my team sitting at 4, I'm happy, but I'm still biting my nails because, like, we've seen so much this year a lot, and even in past seasons where the rankings can change like that. Like, the criteria for which, like, a ranked team, like Cincinnati's only ranked win, I believe, has been against Notre Dame, and that's pretty good for them. But you got an Oklahoma State sitting there that if they beat Oklahoma, and then they beat a Baylor. They've had like maybe 4 or 5 top 25 wins that the committee could probably see is better than Cincinnati only beat Notre Dame.
You know
But I
what?
think Cincinnati being undefeated, they gotta stay at 4, in my opinion.
It is, but it shouldn't even come down to all this. It should be more than 4 teams. If we want to get technical, it shouldn't be limited to 4 teams. The whole premise of having a championship game is to leave no doubt that there is one great team and a rest of 100 and some odd losers, essentially. Of course, everybody else, well, most of everyone else gets a bowl game, so they have a chance to finish the season off with a victory. But still, the goal at the end of the year, much like the Super Bowl, there is one team that won and 31 other losers. It's the same way for college football, but they make the process so difficult by this weird, unheard of playoff format with only 4 teams. So, I mean, obviously we have hope for the future, especially in terms of these players getting compensated in the way that we know they should have been compensated a long time ago. We have an existing playoff format that has been working for the FCS for years. Years. And of course, the problem does come with additional added on games that causes wear and tear on the body, which is completely understandable. But these guys, they want to compete. They want to compete and they want to perform at the highest level and they want to get seen. Why do they want to get seen? Because there is millions and millions and millions of dollars on the line in prestigious positions in the world, not the world, because it's not a world sport. America's not greatest pastime, one of America's greatest pastimes, and that's football.
Yeah.
To be seen on the big stage, the professional football stage. I said all that to say this, Deonte. Somebody's going to be pissed off because they didn't get that shot at the championship belt. And this problem is going to continue to happen until this expands.
Yeah. And I think, we've talked about it a lot, about the different reports of when expansion is going to happen, how many teams it's going to be. I think we'll eventually get there. Like, we finally got to the point where we got to 4 teams before the BCS, or after, before it was the 4 teams, it was the BCS rankings and going off the computer systems. And we finally got to the 4-team playoff format. And I think there's reports that maybe a 12-team playoff format can come this year or next season.
I think that would be 12 or 16 or 32 or something like something that provides them just more of the opportunity just for because you can eliminate all these situations where a team that's completely undefeated gets left out, like your UTSA.
For sure.
That helps.
Exactly. So. You could take with 12 teams, you take the Power 5 champions. You take the highest group of 5 champion, and then you go the highest
get a playing
ranking. Or you go the highest. Like after you have those 6 teams, the Power 5 and the group of 5 champ, the other 6 can be at large based on their ranking.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, and then you
got the schedule, all that type of stuff. Some actual stuff. There just has to be a better way. Like you would think.
I think they'll get there eventually because you had mentioned like money at stake. Like there's so much.
But here's the thing, like for it to take so long, these are precious careers that they're playing with here. Like this isn't just something like, let's throw a few darts on the board. If it sticks, it sticks. You're playing with careers, like legit careers. Like there is a guy that we have never heard of that's sitting on a bench somewhere. Maybe he's not even able to dress out every week. We can't hear about this guy's name because of this particular playoff format that doesn't exist yet. And we'll never hear about this particular person because a few injuries don't happen or scholarships don't, something doesn't happen. We never hear from this guy. There are stories like that every single year. We're missing out on it. The best of the best can't play because the best of the best aren't scheduled to play because of this format is atrocious. I appreciate it for what it is. I'm sure the guys who make it in the top 4 appreciate it for what it is. But if you want the best of the best, you have to have the best of the best. And we just argue.
And another to piggyback off that, you know how a lot of times during bowl season, you see a lot of players opt out. Like, hey, I'm going to get ready to play.
I'm skipping out on this bowl game.
Right. And if you think if we saw that expansion to maybe a 8-team or maybe a 12-team.
There'd be more incentive. There'd be way more incentive for play. Not to say that there is wrong for the players to opt out of a bowl game. I'm not saying that. Jalen Smith, prime example. If he doesn't play in that bowl, if he doesn't play in that Pro Bowl, there's no way he makes it out of the top 10. No way. And he was a fraction of the version of what he was that year with the Fighting Irish. Like, he was one of the many scouts. You go back and look at those draft notes from 2016. Mm-hmm. They haven't seen a player like that in a long time. He doesn't play in that game. He's a completely healthy guy, of course. We in an alternate universe, but we don't get to see that. But that's plenty enough reason. These players have the right if they want to play or if they don't want to play. Shouldn't be held against them. They're making business decisions. But
yeah,
I mean, it's an incentive. But I wouldn't hold it against a player if they decide to sit out, even if it expands to 12 or 16 or 32 or 64 or 128.
Right. 128. Whole FCS action. Everybody makes it.
Yeah, 20 was it 2 months worth of playoff games? Would that be?
That'd
2
be
or 3
insane.
months? That'd be diabolical.
Somebody's
like here shaking their heads like this though. Like, yes. Somebody's put it out in the universe.
There's like so much. I mean, there's 2 weeks with the end of the regular season, and then they got championship week next week for like so much chaos to happen. Like, usually things go according, like, all these scenarios that can happen if this team's lose, like Notre Dame hopping up. Like, there's so much opportunity to happen and chaos to happen these next 2 weeks. Like, things could change next time we pod because you got Ohio State, Michigan this week, correct? You could have an upset, brewing out of nowhere. I'm just saying in general, Did
you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
No, not Ohio State. I was just looking at, Notre Dame, they play at Stanford. Like, Stanford is not good at all, but you never know. Any given Saturday, anything can happen that could shake up the rankings. You still got the Big 12 title race to be, claimed. Still got that going on. So, I mean, the next 2 weeks are going to be crucial. Dane, I didn't get to put this in the notes, and so I'm kind of throwing it out of outfield. I apologize for this.
No, you don't.
Quick note. We have this is a rare time in college football because we have the University of Florida job open.
Oh.
We have the LSU job open.
Woo!
We have the USC job open. We have another Power 5. TCU is open.
Tech is still open too, or they got an interim type of situation?
Tech got the guy from Baylor, our associate head coach, Joey McGuire. He's their new head coach going into next season.
Sure.
Out of all of those jobs, it's kind of like a two-parter. One, out of all of those jobs, what job you think would be like the most enticing to go to? That's including like prestige, location.
I'd say I'm gonna give you 2 answers.
Okay.
LSU and USC. Here's the thing. LSU, that recruiting will be impressive. They will inherit some giant, magnificent, shiny, sparkling with diamonds engraved keys to that kingdom. The recruiting grounds there's so much talent in just that state alone. They'll be fine. But that alone, of course, not even including the culture that they have down there of celebrating. But you won't need to go anywhere. You won't need to go that far. You'll be completely okay and accessible to all the talent in the world just in that state. 2, USC. Exposure. All them 11:30 at night games where everybody's watching, or at least I'm in the bed asleep. But national exposure, you have plenty of opportunity not only to recruit, because it's such a marketable program. They have a lot of cleaning up to do. There are a lot of dirty laundry there that had to be taken out. But I think with the right guy to come into that program, they can turn it around and make it without blemish. So there's that. There was a time when USC, and of course it was back in the day. This makes me sound old. During your your Reggie Bush days, your Matt Leinart days, your Lindell White, Dwayne Jarrett days, like those days. I mean, if you want to go back that far, your
Mike
Troy Polamalu
Williams.
days, Mike. It's like so. I want to know how many of the Mike Williamses are possibly related because there have been so many Mike Williams.
Anyways, think about it, that's like the most common name ever.
It is, but somewhere down the line, hey,
right next to Michael Smith.
True.
Shout out to all the Michael Smiths we know because I feel like we know.
And I think there's at least two of them. Connor McGovern's. The Cowboys have one of them, and I think the Jets have the other one. But that's a super random one too, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that, for me at least, those would be the two. I'm hoping because we have friends in all of those fan bases, every single last one of them. So if anything, I'm not asking for chaos or whoever they bring into any of those positions, but for them to be satisfied and get the opportunity to like just give those coaches a chance because every single last one of those teams, fan bases are it's a big deal. Every single last one of them. So,
and that's the thing. That's another part of it where I was thinking like, man, like there's never been a time like this where you had these prestigious jobs open, but it also seems like a lot of the names that have come up for these jobs, these coaches are staying put. Like we just saw Mel Tucker's name was like up there for the LSU job. He just signed like a 10-year deal today. Like they actually announced his deal today. Shout out to Mel Tucker, by the way. Luke Fickell from Cincinnati was rumored to be one of those big jobs, but now it's rumored that he's staying in Cincinnati. Dave Aranda's name has been thrown out there from Baylor. Jason Garrett, really? I had not heard that.
Oh yeah, well yeah. You've been in this area. You hear a lot of stuff from the local beat writers.
I'll say this, man. Jason Garrett needs to go sit down somewhere or get like an analyst job or he needs to go behind like a TV or like, you know what I'm saying, in front of the camera.
He needs to stay far the hell away from any professional football team because of unless of course somehow we get blipped back to the 80s or the 90s and he has expertise on what it takes to win a championship, and that's running the ball and keeping the ball away from other teams. Other than that, running stop routes, 3-yard stop routes when it's 3rd and 15, that's not going to get you anywhere.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
But shout out to the G-men for figuring out in 20 some odd games what it took the Cowboys 130 something to do. Let's fire a guy who is an outdated scam artist, no ski mask, but hey, somebody's got to get paid. So,
Well, you're a great podcaster, Dane, because you just gave us the perfect segue. The perfect segue to talk about our teams. You're a Cowboys fan. I'm a Broncos fan. A few weeks ago, we went to the game. The outcome was highly in our favor. Meaning the Denver Broncos. We beat you guys pretty bad, 30-0 at one point. Finished 30-16. First, before we talk about the results of the game, as we mentioned at the top of the pod, this is your first time going to a Cowboys game in Cowboys Stadium. You've been to a lot of high school games there, obviously. You mentioned that before, but your experience, Cowboys game day in Cowboys Stadium.
You know what, Deonte, the thing about it was, with it being, 3 weeks ago, it's really hard to remember. It's very spotty. All I remember is that I arrived, I was there for a few hours, and then I left. I can't really tell you much other than that. I mean, the stadium is beautiful. I don't know about the pricing. Everybody complaining about the pricing of the food. I don't know. I didn't get any food. I pretty much lost my appetite, let's say, around the second quarter. But anyways, I had a pretty good time. I mean, thankfully, I was sandwiched between 3 different Broncos fans. Like,
yes, you were.
It was insane.
Including your, of course, I was there. Then your brother James was there, who's also a Broncos fan. Shout out to James.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't save them all.
A lot of times when you watch the game on TV, the Cowboys games, and you hear the opposing fans like at the game, and people say, "Man, this sounds like a visiting team, like a Eagles home game, a Broncos home game." Being there at the stadium, even before like we took the lead on you guys, it felt like we were in Denver. I've been to like 3 games in Denver and it felt like a Denver Broncos home game. Did you feel that same way?
Well, first off, thank you for your expert analysis, Deonte. You painted the picture so well. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Well, since I was there,
you can't tell I love rubbing this in today. I haven't really had the chance to do that today.
He didn't take the opportunity to do it that day either when it was fresh. We spent about an hour and a half in the car on the way back, just trying to get back from the stadium to the apartment. He didn't take any time to do that. Didn't rub my face there.
Saving it all for all the content for the pod.
I see where we're going. Let me entertain you, if you will. You know what, Deonte? I'm gonna keep it up. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, my boy. When we picked those games, because we purchased those tickets back in May, and I was peer pressured. It was supposed to be just you and JB3 going to that game, but I was peer pressured. I felt wrong about allowing you two to go to this game in my hometown. Well, new hometown, at least. Where I live at, where I pay my taxes at. To just go to this game without me. So I was like, what the hell? The Cowboys are going to be pretty sorry. I didn't expect anything of it. We were picking, I thought we were going to be picking in the top 5 after this season is all said and done. I'm going to be 100% real with you because I just wasn't convinced that, one, my team was going to be healthy again, which, of course, I was right. They weren't healthy again this year, but that's beside the point. I told these guys, they asked me before we went into the game on your little IG Live, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called, but
we went live on the Duo podcast
Instagram. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, you asked me, what's the score? What's your predictions for the game, Dan? I'll say, you know what? I don't know, but I hope somebody gets beat bad. And you know what? I really wish I could take that back. And I also wish I could have just stayed outside of the stadium because some odd reason every time I go to that Cowboy stadium,
you won't go to a Cowboy game again.
Oh hell no!
In your lifetime?
Correct. I will never go. If it means that my team doesn't lose that particular day that I go, I will stay my black ass away from anywhere in association with that.
That's strong, man. You can't say never.
It is Wednesday, November 24th, 2021 at 9:54 p.m. at about 17 or 18 seconds. I will not, Dane Beasley, be at another Cowboy stadium, be at another Cowboys game at the Cowboy Stadium ever again for my life. You can quote me on that, sir.
So at a Cowboy stadium, so you would go to a Cowboys game somewhere else, like a playoff game, Super Bowl?
Nope, because there wouldn't be any chance for me to be traveling outside of. You couldn't pay me. And I'm gonna quote myself because I've said this before. There's no way that I'd be entering that stadium again unless for some odd reason I'm filthy rich and I have no desires in the world. What happens to this team? But
so listeners, you hear this? We broke them. We broke this man.
No, hell no. If anything, I'm not wasting. Here's the thing.
What's funny because I'm about to rip up on the Broncos in a few minutes when you're done. Because
whatever. Don't try to be my friend. I'm right here with you, bro. Here's the thing. Watching your team get their ass kicked or their teeth kicked in, it's very overrated. The experience is overrated. Would not recommend. Highly would not recommend. 0 out of 5 stars. I would rather watch that from the comfort of my own couch because I could turn the channel, turn on some Netflix, watch something else, go cook some popcorn, eat some pizza, go on a walk, play with my kid, do something. But I had the joy of sitting there and just watching this the whole time. And guess what? The worst thing about it is I had to drive, so I couldn't just get up and leave because I could have left these two guys. I would have made me look real salty, and I ain't like that. Plus, it just would have been really bad. Anywho, I'm a good sport about it, so I'm gonna talk about it. Here's the thing, Deonte. They played bad. They did. The Cowboys, professional organization, did the same exact thing that their fans did. They thought this game was going to be a cakewalk. It was going to be a knockout of the park. And much like many of those people sold those tickets because there was nothing but a sea of orange, filthy demons, demonic spirits I see in that stadium.
Well, we got to be demons.
That's just what it was. I call it like a sea of boss. Anyway, there's a bunch of orange demonic spirits in that entire stadium, and I was surrounded by them. But I had the covering and the blood of Jesus on me, so I was good. However, I would not succumb to being peer pressured and going to another Cowboys game again, ever. Not even by my own little brother or my best friend, any one of you chumps. It's not happening again.
That was funny.
So, next question.
Okay.
Any other smart antics you got on your chest?
Yes, I got one more. I feel like we made a bet on that game.
Yes, I did. I made 2 bets that day. No, not 2 bets. I agreed to 2 bets. Okay. The first bet, and let me set the record straight because JB3 tried to get it twisted. So JB3, if you're listening to this, don't think I forgot. I got the text message screenshots and the DMs to prove it. Made a bet with my brother who happens to be a hopeless Broncos fan, much like myself, a hopeless Cowboys fan.
Hopeless.
We drafted defensive rookies. Of course, his team, the Broncos, drafted the rookie that I preferred based on a position of need that I thought the Cowboys had in terms of cornerbacks. They got Patrick Surtain II. We ended up getting Micah Parsons. I am on record multiple times, and I'm not denying it, that I did not like the pick, not because of the player, but just because of the character of the player. I did not like the pick. I was not supportive of it. I wasn't even supportive of trading with a division rival to get the pick. Didn't like it at all. Not like it. 0 out of 5 would not recommend. However, we made a bet before the season even started. Whichever rookie played the best or got the Defensive Rookie of the Year award, the other person would have to buy that particular winner the jersey of that particular thing. For example, me being a Cowboys fan, when Micah Parsons wins the Defensive Rookie of the Year award, my brother James will have to buy me a Micah Parsons jersey. He has that. He's had the awards since maybe week 3 or 4. He might be in the running for the Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe. And I say that a super maybe. Yep. However, the bet that we have in question here is referring to no other than Deonte Epps. I told him with my black lips, I said, Deonte, when my team stomps a mud hole in your Denver Broncos, I want a particular jersey. I don't know which one I want, but I know we're going to the pro shop right afterwards, and I'm getting the one over here with the stadium taxes. You coming out your pockets an extra $100. It's probably going to be a Trevon Diggs jersey or something. I don't know. Something cool. Of course, my mouth cast checked and my ass couldn't pay for it. So we end up losing the game. So I was assuming I have to buy this guy some sort of jersey. Some slimy orange.
And I've been thinking about it.
Jersey.
I've been thinking. I'm like, next time we pod about it, I'm going to tell him which jersey I want. And first it was Patrick Surtain because he's a rookie. He's an exciting rookie. And then I was like, no, man. I got to go to my roots. We both play receiver in high school. We just locked this guy up to a extension. He's not quite where he was last year, but he's going to get there. And by the time I get this jersey, he's going to be back to where he was. My guy, Courtland Sutton, Dane.
Okay.
I want a Courtland Sutton jersey.
What size do you want to make sure I get it 2 sizes too small?
I'll take an XL, buddy.
XL?
I'll let it hang.
I got you. Extra small. Got you. All right, man. I got you. Look,
no, not Patrick. Excuse me. Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, he's a dog, man. He's a dog.
Yeah, I love Courtland Sutton. We actually locked up Tim Patrick too, which I was surprised about. Which gives us Tim Patrick, Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler when he comes back. Like, weapons galore for any quarterback we decide to get next season. I just don't want Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers. I want Russell Wilson now. So, yeah. Anyway, Dane, you're a great sport, man. I love you so much. And next time you decide to for our listeners that aren't able to see what Dane just did to me, it's not suitable for work. Not suitable for work. But
I just had an itch in my eyebrow.
On that note, Dane, we're going to go to
both sides of my eyebrow. I hate your guts. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else.
I hate you. It's been a while since we did a nerdy news segment, Dane.
Shout out to Keith.
Shout out to Keith. Shout out to Keith. Nerdy news segment. We're back. Hawkeye, the show that we have been waiting for a very long time, just dropped this week on Disney Plus. The first 2 episodes kind of starts with, I feel like the way the show starts, or I admire the way the MCU always tries to tie everything together. So we're introduced to the Kate Bishop character, her as a kid back in 2012 during the events of the first Avenger movie with the Chitauri coming in and the Avengers fighting them. And there's this particular scene where a young Kate Bishop, after witnessing her parents argue with each other. There's a crazy commotion in
Spoiler
the house.
Alert, by the way.
I'm horrible about that. Spoiler alert for sure. If you've not seen Hawkeye, I advise you to not listen to what I've already said, which I already started. So I hope you didn't do that. And so the Chitauri is basically destroying their home, and Hawkeye saves this young Kate Bishop with an arrow. But her father, at least we think her father, dies at the events or through the events of what happened in 2012. And so that kind of fuels Kate Bishop to become not a hero. She's not a hero, but she has all these trophies for archery. Yeah, inspiration, gymnastics, all this stuff. She has a black belt, her mom said. And so that kind of gives us an introduction to who she is and what her motivations are. And that's the beginning of what starts the first episode of the season or of the show. And then we get episode 1, and then I know I'm rambling a lot, jumping in different places. Man? Episode 1 is more like, okay, who is Kate Bishop? There's a little Clint. Yeah, there's a little Clint in there at the end, but episode 1 is mainly focused on Kate Bishop. Episode 2 is where we kind of catch up more with Clint and kind of get where he fits after everything that happened after Endgame and stuff like that. And I like how we saw Clint in Endgame with the Ronin, when his Ronin stage, and we always I wondered when that would come back to haunt him, all the stuff he did to Avengers Endgame, and it seems like in this show we'll explore that more with the people that he not wrong, but were on their bad side during everything he did during Avengers Endgame with the tracksuit mafia, and things like that. But the first 2 episodes overall, I think were kind of slower, but I feel like a lot of the Disney Plus shows have been like that, with the exception of Loki. I feel like Loki had the most. It was so abstract, and it kind of caught me off guard. And we talked about this before. I feel like Loki had the strongest opener, episode opener for sure. But I think this Hawkeye show is going to be dope. I think it's very grounded, which we had talked about before, Dane. And it's cool to see Hawkeye be the center. I know we got Kate Bishop, but it's cool to be Clint Barton's character, to see him be the center of a show, a product from the MCU, because he's always seen as an afterthought with the Iron Mans and Captain Americas that we have, and it's cool to see him finally in the spotlight to get his moment to shine. So what'd you think so far, the first 2 episodes?
I was impressed. I was very impressed because normally in situations like this, when we have it's not brand new source material, but we're looking at an origin story of a young Avenger. So normally in a situation like this, as it's been illustrated in great detail by Disney, is we get a very slow, drawn out, maybe 3 or 4 episodes in before we get any type of credible action. But they didn't hold any punches. Literally, they got right into it. I was satisfied with the direction they went, not only because we get this super unlayered, half-hearted, introduction and motivation from a particular character, but it gets fleshed out in such a way that we can see the emotions captured by this particular person, Bishop, and how she's not only inspired by Clint and everything that he's done in his life up to this point, but she's at odds with herself because she wants to do everything she possibly can to look like, hey, I'm doing a good job. Can't you see can't you see, without discrediting the character and what's the word I'm looking for? Minimizing her to having daddy issues. That's a easy scapegoat. And nobody wants to do that because there's more layers to it than that. But she's obviously, there are foreshadowing events of her getting or seeking the approval of Clint because of her being, or he being, the inspiration behind who she is turned out to be thus far. So I'm cool with it. Most surprisingly, though, you get to see a few people from all sorts of walks of life in terms of movies and stuff, or cinema, should I say. You got, I mean, I'm not sure that's where we're going, but since we're on the topic, Kate's mom, she was one of the, she was in scary, not was in, she's currently in, you probably seen her in a few scary movies in the past, 10 or 15 years.
Wasn't she in Game of Thrones too? Wasn't she Alessandra? The
witch chick?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was that her?
It looked like her. I don't think it's her, but I mean, if it's her, she's rolling in money. She's rolling in some big Maybe I'm money. Tripping. But I mean, if you've seen her before, you probably most notably know her from all the scary movies that she's been in, and even with she was in one of the Godzilla. Was it Godzilla or King Kong? Anyways, she's most known for the Conjuring series. She's been in that. Anytime I see her face, I always associate, Conjuring lady, somebody's about to be haunted by a ghost. So seeing her in this was kind of cool. And then seeing one of the Salamancas from Better Call Saul, or Breaking Bad, which is the spinoff of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. But he is one of the main characters of the Salamanca cartel. So seeing him playing a role where I was hoping for him to be a good guy. Yeah, I was hoping for him to be a good guy, but he has bad written
just a mustache, man. All you gotta do is look at the stash.
Well, the stash. It wasn't the first clue for me. The stash. For a while, I was like, "It's kind of cool stash." Because I'm stash hesitant right now.
Yeah, I was joking about the stash.
I don't know, you're good. But aside from that, him obviously doing what he did, stabbing his uncle in the back, assuming, but then stealing the sword, like that was like, come on, bro. You ain't got no good intentions. You stealing the sword at an auction, bro. Like, but there's no honor among thieves anyways. Between those two events, and then the fact that when they were fencing when Jack and Kate were fencing, I was like, okay, he's pushing her buttons on purpose, just trying to get her to come in and make her look bad, trying to get her to make her look bad. And sure enough, he draws the flagrant foul. And to which she's smart. She's very smart. She knows him. She reads people very well. Essentially, is what I've picked up so far. But
I think the mom is also hiding something as well.
Naive in a mug. She's the freaking owner of a security security
company.
Yeah,
got the swords in the crib.
She got a few skeletons in her closet.
I think, man, yeah, and let's just jump into some conspiracies here, or some things that I think is going down.
Favorite sport.
For one, that black market auction they held in the basement, where the Ronin sword was up for auction, the outfit was up for auction, and then the tracksuit mafia busted in there and they want the watch, and I'm like, dang, whose watch could that be? And that's from the Avengers compound as well. I think
not just the watch.
I think it's Tony's watch. I think it's from Iron Man. And I don't know what kind of capabilities this watch can do. But as we saw in Endgame, and, this has a lot of connections to Endgame, that he made the watch, the GPS time travel thing.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's some kind of tech that can help go in quantum in the quantum realm.
Somebody has bad motives and intentions. Somebody has bad motives and intentions with it.
And what's crazy is we talk about how the MCU likes to tie things together. One thing that we've seen prevalent since Endgame is Tony's dead, but he's not dead.
Nah, there's always some stuff behind.
Right, in Far From Home, the glasses he left for Peter Parker. That played a significant role. All the people he supposedly wronged in that movie, including Mysterio. What else have we seen? Shang-Chi, we saw the Ten Rings organization from Iron Man 3. Eternals, I don't know if there was any Iron Man references in Eternals. I can't quite remember.
Leader of the Avengers, that's probably about it. It really wasn't Tony. Essentially he was.
Yeah. I feel like Black Widow, I can't, it's been a while since I've seen it, but the basis of the argument is Tony is still alive in that sense. The stuff he left behind, The technology we seen in the Spider-Man trailers, like some of the Stark tech. I don't know if you've seen in that trailer.
And the octopus.
Yes, the Stark tech coming off of Spider-Man's suit is on, on Doc Ock, and I'm like, that's like Tony is not. And when I say Tony's not
dead, his legacy lives on, like in huge parts,
right? And they've given us clues, like, man, this dude and all the stuff that he's done is still prevalent in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think in this show, for sure, I think that Watch is a Tony thing. I think I don't know exactly what it does, but it could be quantum realm kind of things, but that's a Tony item in my opinion, and I think that's going to be another part of it. What else? The end of episode 2, you see that character at the very end, which seems like I don't know if it could be head honcho, leader of the tracksuit mafia. I'm trying to think of any other things that jumped out to me, but I know that Watch one for sure jumped out to me, and of course the mom. I think the mom is kind of shady, but it's still kind of hard to see who is the. They always come out with a big bad. I don't know who that could possibly be, but like you mentioned, I like what they've done to connect certain things so far with what we've seen previously.
Okay, so a few of my thoughts about the show so far. Conspiracies, if you will. When they talked about under the table black market, auction, first thing I thought about, power broker. That was the first thing that came to mind for me.
Oh yeah,
and it was very power broker esque that it got robbed. Quote unquote, it got robbed as that they were in the middle of only auctioning the second or third item. The third item being whatever the hell was in that box or little chest or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but whatever they
had. The chest had the suit.
Oh, the chest had the suit. Okay.
Yeah, the suit came open and Kate grabbed it.
Okay.
And then old boy grabbed the sword. Jack grabbed the sword. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Oops. Okay. So scratch that. I don't think the mom has anything to do. I think the mom is just very naive. She's looking for love in all the wrong places, not to quote a song in particular, but she seemed to be swept off her feet by the right guy. The right guy being Jack, this criminal, we're very certain he's got hands and he knows how to use a sword to fight. So he's got a troubled past. I mean, a homie obviously possibly killed his uncle. Call it what you want. But there's something that we need to know there. There's foreshadowing, especially with the way that he handled the little duel that he had with Kate. Another thing, we have run into one group of enemies that were wronged by Ronin. I think we probably will run into more. Now, the issue we're seeing here, and not the issue, the cool thing I think we're seeing here in Layers is from the jump, the amount of grief or guilt that Clint was feeling during that stage play, that god awful stage play. Now I'm sure once I go back for this all day. Once I go back for the second viewing, I'll be able to pick out some things that weren't some things that were like, wait a minute, is that an Easter egg right there? But for me at least, he's having some trouble mentally in terms of just coming to grips about everything that's taking place, because you got 4 or 5 good friends that you've done war with. Literally, you've done intergalactic war with, and 2 of them have died since then. 2.5, because Steve Rogers, I'm not sure what Steve is up to, his old self, but 2.5. I'm gonna say 2.5, and that happens for Steve. 2.5 have died. I'm not sure how that affects a superhero in that way, but it's something we haven't, on the big screen at least, it hasn't been explored in great detail, but I'm sure we're going to go back and revisit that. But mentally, he's struggling on that end. Physically, he's either partially or completely lost a hearing in one of his ears, which they have done a very good job of making sure the viewer knows and understands that there is something physically going on with his ear because of the help of a hearing aid, which is cool. A lot of people will be able to relate to that, and it's something that Disney or Marvel in this sense draws from realism. We know that there are plenty of ailments, there are plenty of circumstances, there are plenty of situations, there are plenty of health situations that people have, and for them to acknowledge not only that one, but you see the puppy had one blind eye or one partially closed eye. For them to acknowledge that as well is kind of just lending itself to we are drawing inspiration from items or situations that are real. So it's a heads up to them, and shout out to them for doing that. Because I'm pretty sure that's a pretty remarkable thing to intentionally draw that up or put that out. Another thing, I didn't know this. My wife told me this because we were watching this. I didn't know that one of the Russell brothers, the daughter, she's one of the roles. She's Clint's daughter. Like, I remember reading about it. I was like, what role would she have? And anytime you see Russell,
and she's like, good too, man.
Yeah. She was acting the butt off, man. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm pretty sure she's gonna be pretty pissed once she finds out what her pop's been up to. Like, really? Like, you know, been out here mentoring somebody else. You could have been mentoring me. Like, I'm supposed to be, you know. Anyways, 2 episodes. That's what I've drawn so far. But I gotta tell you, man, I don't know where they're gonna go with this in terms of how this plot can be more intense than what it is, but it doesn't seem like a real threat. Maybe, other than Clinton has to get back to his home or get back to his family within 5 days or whatever. But it's just
5 days,
yeah. So,
and to piggyback off what you said about Clint having grief, just in general, he's been through a lot, right?
Yeah,
I had this tweet that I just started thinking before the episode dropped last night. I put Clint has had a low-key crazy story arc in the MCU. Interested to see where they take it with this Hawkeye show. Then I mentioned, I said, my dude Clint got brainwashed by Loki, put on house arrest after Civil War, went rogue as Ronin during Endgame, lost Natasha. Now Yelena thinks he legit killed her after the Black Widow movie. Remember that post-credit where old girl pops up and was like,
he lost.
He gonna have to deal with hers.
He lost his family for several years, and then of course they came back. So not only that, but obviously we know that there's mentally there's something that goes on after you. I mean, realistically, after you kill somebody, we've seen this detailed in so many different walks of life. Accumulation of bodies, accumulation of body count. The more and more people you kill, the more and more that does you mentally. I don't know how that's going to be detailed in this show, but I'm sure they're going to visit it somehow because of the fact he wants no association with that particular. He hasn't taken ownership that, hey, this is me, but he's mentioned so many times that this is dangerous. Any association with this costume is life risking. So for him to even acknowledge that and not to associate with himself just lets me know, like, even somebody who knows it, somebody who runs into a burning building for a living, saving people, doesn't want any association with this image or this symbol of death and destruction. So I'm curious to see where it's going to lead. Oh, one other thing. Shout out to Clayton English, man. My dog from the 85 South show. So it's probably the second or third podcast that I started listening to religiously, aside from the Jenkins and Jones podcast, was the 85 South show. And one of the pioneers, of course, along with Carlos Miller, DC Youngfly, Chico Bean, was Clayton English. And he has a pretty significant role in this show. So shout out to Clayton English, a.k.a. Sabado Domingo, for chasing the bag, man. Because I was like, wait a minute, is that... When they showed like him going on a little website looking at the role players, I was like, is that... Nah, that's not Clayton. And sure enough, when I heard of his, that's definitely Clayton English. So it's going to be pretty cool to see how my boy Grills has some more screen time. Because that's not his only episode.
That part was pretty funny.
It's Grills, man. He said, I got to stand
just like a black dude.
He said, I got to stand you. Got to make it look real, though.
That was dope, man.
He said, but you had fun, though, right? He said,
yeah. I did. That was funny, man. Funny. Episodes 1 and 2 of Hawkeye streaming right now. Episode 3 next week. 6 episodes total, so we only got 4 more left. Till the action's got to pick up like every episode.
There was a lot of action already, so yeah, man, like it's gonna be gonna be crazy.
Yeah, gonna be crazy. Of course, we'll be here next week to talk about episode 3. And Dane, okay, this was like my favorite topic that I put on here. Right. As we mentioned, it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving again to you all. And my question was, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? And I'm gonna answer first. I believe, and I am very certain that my favorite dish is sweet potatoes in any form. That could be pie, could be yams. That's what I'm rolling with, because one, I got a sweet tooth like crazy, and the way my folks make yams is just off the chain, whether it's in the like more mashed potato form or like in like sometimes they make it in the blocks with a little cinnamon on top. All right, it's undefeated. Close second. And the only reason I put it second is because I eat it so often. So I mean yams too, but yams really is a Thanksgiving dish in our family. But mac and cheese is right there with the yams, like 1 and 2. And the other question, Dane, and I kind of mentioned it off the top, a lot of people don't like their food to touch. I don't get that. Like my dad always say, it's all going to the same place. I like to mix my yams with the mashed or yams with my mac and cheese sometimes, man. What do you think?
My name is Dane Beasley. Welcome to my TED Talk. So boom,
we are here.
I'm going to list out 3 because I didn't know this question was going to be on here, so there's no way I could have telegraphed this, but boom. Macaroni and cheese, baked macaroni and cheese, specifically the crust burnt edges of the macaroni and cheese, fresh out the oven. Multiple
so
cheeses. You had your turn, brother. First, let me go back to something else. You're going to ask me a question, and, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to answer it first. Like, did you not realize the etiquette that you just sideswiped me with? It's supposed to be me. Anyways, specifically, the corner, the 90-degree angle of the macaroni, the baked macaroni and cheese. It's got to be a little burnt. It's got to be a little brown. It's got to be,
it's got those 3 corners, but that 4th corner got the curve because it was in the corner.
Look, I've got to, when it's getting cut out with the spatula, I got to hear it a little bit of, like I had hear a little bit of crunch, just a little bit, not a lot. The rest needs to be macaroni sound. Though. You know the macaroni sound. That sound. The rest needs to be like that. Second, and you can insert Vernon Davis clip here. Sweet potato yams. Sweet potato yams.
I saw that clip again today.
Sweet potato yams. So that specifically touching, those 2 need to touch on my plate. They got to touch, and they got to mix. They got to mix. And I don't, whatever I eat, I do not care if it touches, because I'm going to eat it and it's my plate. If you want to separate the stuff, you can go ahead, sit with the little kids in the 5 year and under club. Like, they separate their kids too. They have their own little plates designed with different sections. You have your grains in one section, your greens in one section. Yeah, so sit with them at that table, and then make sure you bring your sippy cup with you too.
Grow up.
Facts. Third. This is tough. For me, okay? But I'm just going to go out there and say it, okay? I like my spinach and my greens. Sometimes
very underrated.
Sometimes I have both, but cutting out so many different, stuff to eat. Like, my whole life, I've been a huge lover in the huge lover of the green family. Like, we all eat our greens and stuff like that. But specifically with spinach, like ever since Popeyes, like it's always sold to us like it'll make you strong and it's good for you. And I always hated it until the right person cooked it. And ever since then, like I always try, unless they got bacon and stuff in there, like keep that away from me. Like, you got bacon and stuff in there, I don't want no parts of that. Like, leave that out of there, hold it. No, I don't want to even smell it. You feel me?
Don't even smell it.
I don't even want to smell it. But that's it for me. So yeah, man.
I got another question.
Oh, what's up, G? Shoot.
Turkey or ham?
Turkey. I don't dine on the swine, brother. So you can hold the ham and keep it away from my yams. You feel me? So I'm gonna go with the turkey.
I'm a ham guy.
Of course you are.
We
I've
put
always hated ham.
the pineapple on the ham too.
Man, the pineapples.
Pineapples
do belong on
just a little throwback.
Yeah, I feel you.
One last thing that for the people that are listening or watching, this is some advice that I didn't have a problem personally when I used to do this, but I stopped doing it because social media is crazy now. Don't post your plate.
Stupid. I don't know why people do that.
Post your plate.
Old girl, I threw it down today.
Because somebody is gonna find something to say about your damn plate.
Either your ashy ass hand in the corner of the picture or your overcooked. Bro, we're gonna talk about this man's skin cells on life support in that little snippet. Like, I've never seen something so bad.
No, not poor KD, but that just looks. Like he had nothing to say but pull the broke card.
I'm like, bro, you call me broke? Like, you call me broke? Like, what? I'm sitting here with lotion, my boy. Like, what you? Do you think I'm supposed to be offended by that?
Look, I'm broke, but I'm broke. I ain't that broke. I got lotion.
And not only that, I got some expensive lotion. I got some of the natural vanilla bean butter. I got some of the natural baby lotion, which is very sensitive for is intended for sensitive skin for babies, of course. And of course, I got what's the Jergens? I think it's a big ass bottle of Jergens. So I keep that thing on me too, KD. So you know what I'm saying. You want to come around here?
You will get lotion.
I might be broke, but guess what? Your boy ain't got no ash in sight. You smell me? Always stay protected. You feel me?
That's funny, man.
And that's just disgusting. Like, that's just disgusting. Like, that's kind of ash that you get like right after in the middle of the triple digit heat of the summer, hopping out of the swimming pool, dry off and no lotion. That's what that is. That's what that looked like. Like,
that's worse, bro. That's like a couple of days without lotion in the legs.
like, bro.
You don't put lotion on for a few days.
Facts.
That's what that looked like.
Yeah.
That looked like skin.
Like that's that
episode. You know that episode of SpongeBob where he was out the water and he started drying up. Water. That was KD's legs, bro.
He said, "I need it.
I need it." That was KD's legs. Was on SpongeBob.
That's a few days after your mom said, "Get your motherfucking ass back in the house and put some lotion on." Like, that's a few days after that.
Facts.
So his come on, man. I know they got back to his mom.
Put on some lotion. Like, I would think it gave me some flashbacks like crazy. Like, but that's when I was a kid, not no damn 30-year-old.
I was flinching. You walk out the house like that in front of your moms or even your sisters, you gonna get clowned on. Like, I mean, at least me. I know my sister used to clown me because I didn't used to iron my clothes until I got to high school, and she clowned me. So coming out the house, ashy, that was the least of my worries. Either gonna be some Vaseline or some watered down aloe vera knockoff lotion from Family Dollar. It was gonna be applied to the crevices of the ash on my legs.
Yeah.
So KD, get your life together, man. Yeah. Oh, facts.
Too.
Yeah, and
then get right, bro.
Put some on the lips too. But this is coming from a dude who don't brush his hair, so I mean, we really can't be surprised. I ain't gonna chop him up too much.
I should post this clip on Twitter and see if he responds.
Hell no! You gonna have 1,000 ashy ass people coming at us saying, "Yeah, y'all get y'all's lotioned up asses up out." Like, no, don't do that. Don't poke that ashy ass bear. No, we could.
Oh man, this was a fun episode, man. We got on that topic because I was saying don't post your food on Twitter because somebody gonna find something wrong with it.
Don't do it.
Your turkey look dry.
Hey, look overcooked, baby.
Food touching. Anyway, that's some advice from the
salt
duo.
on that, baby.
Yeah, that's some advice from us. Don't post your plate. Just enjoy your family
and look,
enjoy your food, all that good stuff. Enjoy some football.
Leave those tired ass arguments in the drafts about who needs to make the play first. Like, no, it don't matter about who gets to play first. As long as you get the plate and you say thank you to the person in the hands that cooked it and prepared it. Leave them weak ass arguments alone. We don't need to revisit that. Like, that's childish. Leave that alone. Talk about that amongst yourself. Complain to your mammy. And I'm out.
And then we out, man. Once again, episode 67. Dane and I, 2 years of the duo. We appreciate y'all that's been rocking with us from day one. And if you haven't been rocking with us since day one, we still appreciate you.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome. We are here.
You're welcome.
We are here. Of course, you can check out this on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, our website, www.theduosnspodcast.com. You can follow me on Twitter. I haven't did a Twitter or social media drop in a minute. You can follow me at DF's Right Steps on Twitter, on Instagram. Dane, what about you?
You can find me on. Look, you can follow me if you want to. If you don't,
you can find me in the. Hey, I'm on it. All right, I'm done.
No, you follow me at Dane BTX on Twitter, Instagram, whatever whatever. And to close out, we'll leave y'all a quote from Michael Irvin. We're losing the recipes.
Man, Michael Irvin be on another level, man. That guy. Just trying to get him on
the pod. When he said that, when they were talking about the Lions or something, I was like, where did this come from?
I don't know.
Essentially, the clip I'm referring to is Michael Irvin. He said, basically, these new kids are different. He's like, young ladies not knowing how to cook. You're not learning from your mamas. We're losing recipes.
He sounds just like him. It's crazy.
Which is, let alone the misogynistic tone, but it's just like, how are we talking about this? We're talking about a horrible Detroit Lions franchise, and we're talking about losing recipes. Like, crazy. But anywho, I want to leave y'all with that. Matter of fact, that's my new Twitter name. I'm changing it to it right now.
Dane's changing his Twitter name, and we getting out this thing. The Duo episode 67. Y'all have a happy and wonderful Thanksgiving.